Hey guys, we're gonna look at doing a revamped kind of a mercenary build, a trade build for the Byzantines. So we tried it when the Byzantines were first released, and since then they've gotten quite a significant amount of buffs. You start with a 10% cistern bonus. Cisterns are cheaper now, and you start with an additional 50 stone. And so just the cistern changes in and of itself means we're starting off with a 5% better eco than we were with this initial build, as well as we're um, getting to our second level of cistern faster and getting more from it. And then the mercenary house oil cost for the first selection of the mercenary house wing, one of the three wings, has been reduced by 100, and that's going to help just the tempo of everything, just to be able to get that out sooner. So that being said, the idea of the build is just to go into kind of a 1TC aggressive style and transition into trade at the time that you kind of start pushing your opponent, so you don't fall behind in terms of eco if they've gone 2TC or if they're going fast cast or any of these things. Your eco will kind of still be able to scale with theirs because you'll start really ramping up your gold as well as your oil income. And then Byzantine doesn't really have anything that you can use the gold in terms of feudal besides eco and blacksmith techs. Um, but after you've done that, you can pretty much just either buy your way to castle with your extra gold, or just kind of balance out your eco to keep producing army. Or the other thing you can do is um, just you can even buy olive oil, buy more mercs, and yeah, just basically just balance your eco from there, right? So the idea isn't to rush trade as much as it is to transition into trade with one or two markets. So that being said, let's just do the build. The opening is all villagers go on to berries. Two of them will build a mill, and then another village will build a cistern. And then your first two villagers will rally onto gold, build a house, build a mining camp, and then you're going to rally four villagers onto the sheep, and they're going to build your landmark. And then at 200 gold, one of your villagers is going to pull off onto a straggler tree, and then you're going to rally up to five villagers total onto wood, and then you're going to rally onto food until you have a total of around 12 to 13 villagers on food, and then you're going to rally onto gold, and then onto wood. All right, so yeah, let's just see the build so you guys can kind of see it in action.
Έτοιμη.
Τροφή. Χτίζω. Πού. Χωρική. Εργάζομαι.
Ναι. Έτοιμος. Ναι.
Okay,
Και λεύσεις.
let's get this. Not the best positioning here for a mill. It's nice to have three berries next to
Καβαλάριος.
our mill just for walking.
Κατάσκοπος.
It does affect it. Because we're on berries, we can
Ναι.
afford to go all the way across the map.
Έτοιμος.
It's one thing that I think is actually pretty beneficial about this build, is that it allows you to scout and kind of see anything that's going to happen for like any weird Dark Age plays your opponent might do. This is the AI, so I mean, might do something funky, right? But like, if this was an opponent, right, I could see he's on berries. I could see if he's, depending on the civ, if he's, what he's doing with these opening berries, and
Κατάσκοπος.
yeah, I could even scout like over and around, right? And it kind of depends too, depending on what his scout does, whether you go right or left here, right?
Καβαλάριος. Κινούμε. Έτοιμος. Ναι.
And then we're just gonna kind of snake our way back and get vision
Ασφαλώς.
as we do so. I think we just skip those.
Χωρική έτοιμη.
Καβαλάριος. Ναι.
Okay.
Ναι. Ασφαλώς. Υπέβω. Ναι. Ναι. Κινούμε.
And one more villager on
Και
food.
λεύσεις. Έτοιμη. Ναι.
We are at to 160 gold, so we do have to pay attention to our gold count here.
Κατάσκοπος.
We will be wanting to pull off at 200, so make sure you always keep kind of tabs on that. So now we've got our 4 villagers here. We're gonna rally a villager onto wood here, and then this villager that drops off gold is going to drop off, and he's going to go onto a straggler tree. So he drops off, goes onto the straggler tree, and now we're chopping 2 trees at once. It's really important that this happens. You need to be hitting 2 separate trees, otherwise it will kind of mess up the build order. So it's
Ναι.
small detail, but fairly important
Χτίζω
detail.
αυτό.
Καβαλά. Υπέβω.
Παρόν.
Καβαλά. Κινούμε. Έτοιμος. Κινούμε.
So these villagers, I rally 2 onto one tree, and then I'm going to rally the next villager onto a separate tree. And then from here, we're going to rally the next villager on this tree again. That's going to be fine.
Ασφαλώς.
Rally this guy up here. And these villagers, after they build, they're going to shift queue over here to build the mercenary house.
Ναι.
5 villagers onto wood,
Και λεύσεις.
and I like to shift queue these villagers onto the next tree and then onto the wood line.
Κατάσκοπος.
Just because sometimes, like, just during game, you're not going to be able to get it done. Make sure you drop a house with your gold villager here.
Ναι.
Keep collecting sheep here. Actually, I think I want to come over here. I want to scout this side. And we're going to rally up to 9 villagers on food. Or 8 or 9. It kind of depends. I personally like 9, but, well, it just helps for, like, these further berry patches, because there's going to be a downtime for your villagers that are collecting. So it's kind of nice to have that transition
Κατάσκοπος.
be smoother.
Καλικελεύσεις έρχονται.
Okay, drop this, drop that,
Πάντες έτοιμοι.
and then we're going to drop a
Τι πράγμα θέλεις.
our cistern here. Unfortunately, we don't have enough, but we'll drop it like this. Like that. And now we've got 9 here. We can rally villagers onto there.
Τι καλά.
Onto,
Η διαταγή σου. Πάντες έτοιμοι. Αρχίζω να εργάζομαι.
okay.
Η εργασία αναμένει.
Do you want to not idle RTC this? So we lose a little bit of time there.
Καβαλά. Μάλιστα.
Okay, let's keep scouting here. Let's go like this.
Ναι. Τούτο κτίζεται.
Then I do like to switch this one to dialectus, and then I get my exploratores upgrade next.
Καβαλάριος έτοιμος.
We'll go up to 4 villagers
Εκελεύσεις έρχονται.
on gold here.
Τι είναι διατάξεις. Ταχύ.
Okay, so we scouted this. Let's come back over here. And we'll come back and drop off. A little bit unrealistic in terms of how many sheep we're collecting here.
Καβαλάριος
It usually won't happen, right? But I mean, it does, but it's not often, right?
Η διαταγή σου. Εντάξει, ακούω.
And so the idea is now just to get your raids in. Okay, we need to get a house dropped over here.
Εντάξει, τούτο πράτο.
Okay, nothing here. Villagers.
Ποδόψελα. Υπείς έτοιμοι. Υπακούω. Προσβάλλεται δυνατός. Έλα, εις μάχης.
And then this early triumph is kind of debatable if you would actually do it or not. If you got like a secured like villager kill, I would say it's usually worth doing, but it's definitely like, I guess something like it's debatable whether it is or not.
Ναι.
Καβαλάριος έτοιμος.
Okay, he's coming back.
Εντάξει.
And then we've got
Έτοιμος.
our longbow should be somewhere around here, right? Oh,
Τρεχόρα.
whoops. So that's the big thing, is really that you have nice timing with those longbows behind all of
Τι
this.
πράγμα θέλεις. Εργασία. Εργασία.
After 8 villagers on wood, I like to send one out
Καβαλάριος. Εντάξει, υπείς έτοιμοι. Η διαταγή σου.
to go build markets. Usually a market, but sometimes it's more. And I'm also getting my double broad axe upgrade.
Ναι.
So this worked out nicely because my tree line was next to my mill here.
Πάντες έτοιμοι.
Doesn't always work out that way, but when it does, it's nice, right?
Εντάξει.
And then don't forget to rally your villagers back onto wood after this villager's headed out. And in this case, I don't think a corner would be the best thing, but
Κινούμε ευθύς.
it's a little bit more if you go down here in terms of gold. But it's not like end of the world.
Έτοιμοι οι σκελεύσεις.
Cheeky.
Τούτο κατενόησα.
Cheeky villager. Or cheeky ninjas. Okay, let's go around here.
Στρέλμποραν! Και στρέλμποραν! Εντάξει.
Oh wow. I'm surprised that. Well, it's the ridiculous AI, right? So it does a little bit more than it normally does, which is nice.
Καβαλάρι!
But as you can see, like there's definitely some potential for like
Τι πράγμα θέλεις.
to do a little bit more.
Υπήρξε τούτο πράτο!
I think we kill this.
Πέσετε! Ακούω! Προσβάλλετε! Απούγκα, στρέλβο! Πέιονται, ναι!
Get our upgrades here.
Εντάξει! Καβαλάρι! Κινήθητε!
I mean, I don't think anyone like commit this hard,
Δεχόμεθα τα βέλη!
but if they did, you know, they would have traded out basically all of those villagers for this, right? Which is definitely not worth it for someone who would do that, right? But I don't think someone would actually do this in a game, right?
Yeah, we're on Styria!
But the idea now is that you have basically trade online. And from here, I stop at around 14, 15 villagers on wood. And then I'm going into just trade.
Ναι, έτοιμος.
Or into food villagers, sorry about that. So most of our oil is coming from our berries and stuff now, but our traders are kind of just starting to get online, which is nice.
Εργασία.
He's gonna build this, and then we're gonna build a market. So get our upgrades, and then we're transitioning into Limatane and spears, which is just what I like. I do try to save my horseman mass. In this case, we didn't because he was building a second TC, and it's kind of worth just diving there, right? And then because we dropped the second market and we dropped 2 markets and we dropped all this infrastructure, we have enough resources here
Ναι, τούτο
to
κτίζω.
Εργασία. Έτοιμος να κινηθώ.
to drop cisterns, which is really nice.
Αρχίζω να εργάζομαι.
And then so one nice thing is like your eco is really set up to like
Υπακούω. Αποχωρήσατε.
to just crank out Limatane from here, like and you can start producing villagers along the
Ναι,
to start to gather the sheep here,
Χτίζω.
and you can just drop like 2 to 3 barracks and basically just keep it non-stop pumping while behind this you're collecting you're getting your trader numbers up.
σκελεύση.
Προσοχή.
And like for example, let's say like I don't know, like a real more game situation, we're getting our siege engineering now, right?
Ναι, έτοιμος. Ακούω.
We can get our siege engineering and we have a decent mass kind of forming, right? And this is behind our horseman aggro and all these types of things. So I do think it's got potential. I don't know if it's still too slow to be viable. But I think it's got a lot of good potential in terms of like
Υπακούω.
being a decent build for ranked. Because Byzantines is one of the cities where like trade is good for them, but it doesn't really come online quickly, right? So if you can get it to come online at a reasonable time behind your aggression, I think it's kind of its strength now. Is when you want to do this then, right?
Γελάς. Νου, γελάς.
This strong wood eco too is gonna let you drop like cryosyphons and things like that. So it's a different style, I guess, like than what you normally see, because what you're investing in less army now. But like, say your opponent like isn't like based, right? Right now it's the AI, so he's based, right? But if you have to fall back and you have to drop walls and stuff, like it really isn't like I can. With just the wood that's in my bank, right? I can wall half the map just like whenever. And if I'm short on wood, I can buy stuff, you know, things like that. I don't really need my gold super like too much, so it becomes like kind of a flexible thing that I can use my gold on during during like this build. So it's kind of nice that like my oil income gets boosted by this too ever so slightly, and it just kind of helps your mercenaries to kind of stabilize while you're doing your normal play, right? So I think it's got some potential to it. I'm gonna take it onto ladder and try it out some. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys test it out and have any luck with it, let me know. And thanks for watching, guys. And I will see you on the next one.